Khabib Nurmagomedov is undoubtedly one of the most talented fighters we've ever seen. Maybe, just maybe, the greatest grappler in the history of mixed martial arts, and that's saying something. What's up, everybody? Fred Richani, TSC, here to recap UFC 242. If you're new here, please consider subscribing and enabling notifications for live updates like this. The question was, could Khabib Nurmagomedov withstand Dustin Poirier, his toughest challenge today, other than maybe Conor McGregor? Now, if you look at Dustin Poirier's resume in recent years, and you look at Khabib's, you can make the strong argument that Dustin Poirier has had a stronger quality of opposition, and for the last 3 years, he has been absolutely rolling. But here's the thing. While Khabib at times has looked human on the feet, has looked like a guy that could get tagged, that could get rocked, that could possibly get finished on the feet, the reality is he knows exactly what he's doing there. He has phenomenal cage awareness. He's got a chin. He's got durability. He's got serious cardio. And he's got a will like, well, an eagle. And when he gets you down, when he keeps you down, he's going to make sure you regret every single one of your life choices that led to you going inside that octagon with him. And that is what he did. The first 2 rounds of this lightweight championship fight for the undisputed world title were as follows. Dustin looked okay, was trying to hold his own, trying to block the takedown, but he ended up getting down, and his life was made miserable by Khabib. Round number 2, Dustin actually looked pretty good for a brief period on his feet. And you may recall, Conor had his moments too. Quinta had a couple flashes here and there. We've seen people, when they stand and trade with Khabib, look like they have some success. And if Khabib decided to stand and bang with Dustin Poirier for 3 rounds, he might not be the lightweight champion right now. But at the end of the day, it's not about trying to be something you're not. Khabib Nurmagomedov is a sambo beast. Khabib Nurmagomedov is a grappling beast. And this dude sticks to what he's best at, and that is taking you down. He took Dustin down. He battered him, bloodied him, got the rear naked choke in round number 3 for the submission win to become the now official, undisputed lightweight champion of the world. And now he is 28-0, undefeated. If, barring any kind of other chaos and craziness, he's likely to finally face Tony Ferguson. He's probably going to beat Tony Ferguson because Tony Ferguson has some of the similar weaknesses that Dustin Poirier does. And while they're both great fighters, they ain't Khabib. While Conor McGregor's an all-time great fighter, he ain't Khabib. Whew. So, Tony Ferguson, Khabib will probably be a great fight, but I think it's going to go Khabib's way. And then from there, you look around, you look at the landscape. Who the hell you got? Seriously, who the hell you got? Maybe Justin Gaethje, if he's able to defeat Donald Cerrone. Maybe. And that would be a great fight too. But, again, Justin Gaethje. It's the same question every fight. Can you stop Khabib from taking you down? And if he takes you down, can you stop him from destroying your ass? At the moment, that remains to be seen, and it is highly unlikely. And given the fact he's 28-0, given the fact that he overcame weight-cutting issues, injury issues, all this other stuff, given the fact that he has a whole nation on his shoulders, his family on his shoulders, and he's able to just come in and kick ass like the way he has, I mean, he's definitely already, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest UFC fighters, MMA fighters of all time. So much respect to him. Dustin Poirier, he did his damn best, but man, it just was not enough tonight. And look, there's no shame in losing to Khabib, that's for sure. But I just don't see anybody beating this guy anytime soon. Now, let's get to the rest of the card here. I was able to catch most of it. Didn't catch much of the prelims. This was a little bit of a weird deal here because for the prelims, they were on ESPN Plus and they were on FX as part of Fox, aka the former home of UFC. A little weird, right? But here's what we had in the early prelims on UFC Fight Pass. We had Bilal Muhammad defeat Takashi Sato via rear naked choke in round number 3. Muslim Slikov defeated Nordin Taleb, the former Bellator fighter, via knockout in round number 1. Amari Akhmedov defeated Zach Cummings via unanimous decision. Some guy named Don Madge defeated some dude named Faraziem via unanimous decision. Atman Azatar defeated Timu Pakilan via knockout in round number 1. Sarah Moras defeated Liana Jojua via TKO in round number 3. Zubaira Tukagov defeated... Actually, no. He went to a draw with Lerone Murphy, a split draw. 28-29, 29-28, 28-28. This is actually a really good fight. This is a featherweight fight. If you didn't catch any of the prelims, this is one of the ones I'd recommend. And a women's flyweight bout, a battle of potential contenders. Joanne Calderwood defeated Andrea Lee via split decision, 28-29, 30-27, 29-28. Yeah, those scores are all over the place. On the pay-per-view, Carlos Diego Ferreira defeated Maribek Tusama via unanimous decision, 29-28, 29-27, 29-27. Curtis Blaze looked awesome, defeating Shamil Abdurakhimov via TKO. Vicious elbows and punches in round number 2. Islam Makhachev defeated Davi Ramos via unanimous decision, 29-27, 30-26, 30-26. Yeah, those scores, folks. After the fight, Makhachev did call out the winner of the co-main event. The co-main event was Paul Felder versus Edson Barboza 2. Paul Felder got the split decision win, 27-30, 29-28, 30-27. So a lot of people thought Barboza won. It was a close fight. It was a hell of a fight. I really enjoyed this. Good for Paul Felder, who's done some great work on commentary for the UFC. And then, of course, we had our main event where Khabib Nurmagomedov dominated and destroyed Dustin Poirier. He was a fantastic fighter. Round 3, rear naked choke, 2 minutes, 6 seconds. As for what's on the docket next for the UFC, we have next weekend Gagey versus Cowboy, and it's only on ESPN Plus, which is great for subscribers like myself, but kind of crazy if you really think about it. Kind of crazy that fight's not on pay-per-view or not on a major ESPN card. But Justin Gagey, Donald Cerrone, that's going to be at lightweight. You have Glover Teixeira and Nikita Krylov in the co-main event. Todd Duffy's fighting some dude named Jeff Hughes. So top 30 fights look pretty interesting. After that, not so much. That is officially a fight night. The following week, we have another ESPN Plus card. Yair Rodriguez against Jeremy Stevens, along with Carla Esparza versus Alexa Grasso. And then from there, we have Jack Hermanson against Jared Cannonier. Gunnar Nelson against Thiago Alves. That's in Copenhagen, Denmark. That is also going to be on ESPN Plus. Then we have one of the big ones, UFC 243 on pay-per-view, exclusively on ESPN Plus, at least in the U.S. Robert Whittaker versus Israel Adesanya for the undisputed middleweight title. This is taking place in the badassly named Marvel Stadium in Melbourne, Australia. Probably the biggest fight in Australia. Well, I'd say the biggest fight in Australian MMA history, other than Ronda Rousey and Holly Holm, in terms of two dudes, from that region. That's gonna be a hell of a fight. Co-main event, not really a marquee matchup, but should be fun. Al Iaquinta and Dan Hooker. Tai Tuivasa versus Sergey Spivak, and Holly Holmes fighting Raquel Pennington. After that, we have on October 12th, Joanna Jędrzejczyk taking on Michelle Waterson in a strawweight bout. If Waterson wins, this could definitely put her in contention. We then have a UFC on ESPN with Dominic Reyes against Chris Weidman. Kind of surprised that Dominic Reyes is getting the top billing over Chris Weidman here. A guy that's looked good, but I wouldn't say he's totally proven yet. But to me, this is definitely make or break for the former middleweight champion who's been down on his luck over the years. And then we have another UFC on ESPN Plus, October 26th in Singapore. And it is headlined by Damian Maia against Ben Askren, the Battle of Grapplers. And then from there, we have UFC 244, November 2nd, in my neck of the woods, Madison Square Garden, New York City. And it features the headliner, I guess for now, Nate Diaz taking on Jorge Masvidal. No word on Kamaru Usman versus Colby Covington. That matchup for the undisputed welterweight title was targeted for MSG, but haven't heard much, and we only got a couple months away, so we'll see. I mean, Nate Diaz and Jorge Masvidal, or any Nate Diaz fight right now on paper, is way bigger than any welterweight title fight UFC can put on right now with Usman and Colby Covington, with all due respect to them. So 5 rounds and Masvidal Diaz, that's cool, but it is kind of weird not have a title fight in New York City. As far as the other fights on that card for now, Derek Lewis and Blagoy Ivanov should be a buffet of violence. Johnny Walker versus Corey Anderson, and Kelvin Gastelum versus Darren Till. So on paper, it looks pretty good. Also, some announced bouts. We have Lyman Good, the former Bellator champion, against Chance Rencounter. And we have right here, as I mentioned before, Nate Diaz, Jorge Masvidal, a few other bouts set to be finalized. So overall, a pretty damn busy fall schedule for the UFC. I got to give this event a thumbs up, although, let's face it, most of the fights other than the co-main event and the main event didn't really belong on pay-per-view. But I want to hear from you guys. What did you think about Khabib's beastly performance? Who do you think is next for him? Shout out to all the people that are listening after the fact and watching live, like Raskan Shabaka. Until next time, everybody, take care, like, and share. As always, enjoy the fights. Wow. Khabib, beast.